All right, Michael Jackson fans. Now, this is indeed a sad day. I can't believe it's been 9 years since the King of Pop passed away on June 25th. Wow. Time flies by. It doesn't feel, believe it or not, it doesn't feel like he's gone if you ask me. Because, he has so many different things within his catalog of music and short films, not music videos, because they like to call them short films. And yeah, my good old MJ. But just kind of reflection in this video. To me, Michael Jackson dying was like the John F. Kennedy assassination. Like, I remember where I was, what I was doing. I remember my dad was watching TV in the living room. I was literally coming from the kitchen, walking through the living room, and I was halfway through the living room about to go to my bedroom, and then I just saw the news: Michael Jackson is dead. And I remember just stopping. Me and my dad looked at each other. We couldn't believe it, because remember, at the time there were just so many crazy rumors going on a few years earlier about how he went overseas and everything. And people were reporting that he fled the United States, and I think there were like 2 or 3 occasions where it was said that Michael Jackson was dead while he was overseas. So when the news broke that he was, pronounced dead, it was kind of jaw-dropping, because it was one of those things where, it's just another celebrity hoax. He's not dead. But when they showed, the video of him being taken on the, what was it called, the stretcher or gurney outside of his house into the ambulance, into the hospital. And I think at that time, Jermaine Jackson got on television to announce the tragic news. So, yeah. But from that, we had all the tribute ceremonies, like the one at the Staples Center, the BET Awards, and Janet Jackson got on an award show and did that amazing dance of Scream. That was just phenomenal. And I think one of my favorite, there are so many great tributes, but I think one of my favorites, if I'm not mistaken, happened a year later. It was the BET Awards, where Chris Brown did his phenomenal tribute to Michael Jackson. I know most people remember that for him breaking down in tears singing Man in the Mirror, but for me, it was just the fact that, all right, now, if I'm not mistaken, this was 2009 when he passed. Yeah, 2009, because obviously 2019 will be 10 years. But during that time, yeah, that's right, I remember, because it was June. I just graduated from high school. That's why it was in the middle of summer before I went to college. Yep, that's what it was. Then, of course, the Chris Brown Rihanna thing happened earlier that year. So Chris Brown definitely wasn't in the public's eye in a positive light. And I do believe he said that he showed up to the memorial at the Staples Center, but, not in disguise or anything, but he kept a low profile. Now, even though there were a lot of great tribute performances throughout the year, after Michael passed, award shows, ceremonies and whatnot, memorials, I feel like the best was saved for last, because when Chris Brown got on stage, I think he was dancing to The Way You Make Me Feel, Remember the Time, was it Billie Jean? That performance was amazing. I feel like, in the midst of all the controversy that he went through, the fact that he was able to channel his energy for one of his greatest influence was amazing. So for me, despite the Rihanna thing, he literally destroyed that performance. Just showing like, hey, I'm the one who's working it, I guess you could say, pick up where MJ left off. Unfortunately, Chris Brown kept getting into more and more trouble. And to be honest, I don't feel like he carries that mantle anymore, because he's really done more, on the rap and what hip hop side than sticking with the R&B. But that's not to say I don't enjoy some of Chris Brown's recent work, but really I'm more of a fan of his earlier stuff. And I know this video really isn't on a Chris Brown, but I just need to talk about that tribute, because to me that was one of the most iconic performances after the King of Pop passed away. But we've gotten some great stuff. Spike Lee has done phenomenal work on his documentaries for Off the Wall and well, actually, excuse me, Bad 25. Then he did the Off the Wall documentary. Fingers crossed that he does one for Thriller. I don't want to wait an entire year, but I feel that with next year being the 10th anniversary of Michael's passing, the MJ estate should definitely do something in honor of, you know, being a decade since he passed, whether it's a new album. I do believe there was a recent word about a Michael Jackson, what was it, like a musical? Yeah, I think it's a musical coming out in 2020, but let's talk about 2019, 10 years. I don't know if they'll re-release a new album, or excuse me, re-release an old album, give us an album with songs from that were unreleased, kind of like a Escape was. I mean, there's just so much they can do with this. Personally, for me, a documentary on Thriller would be enough. Like, if they don't do anything after that, I will be fine, because I would love, well, actually a documentary on all of his albums. You know, those three are the main ones for me: Off the Wall, Bad, and Thriller. Dangerous, History, Invincible, you really can't do that much because that album really wasn't promoted. That's when Michael was at war with Sony, so to speak, so that album really didn't get enough press as it was. But yeah, if you give me a Thriller documentary, I'll be fine. I was kind of mad because what was it? Was it Dangerous 25 or Dangerous 30 that they didn't do anything for last year? So I was kind of pissed about that. But yeah, I really do hope we get a Thriller documentary, or we get some sort of memorial. I don't know, something. I hope they do something. But in any case, you know, I guess this video is just to say that, you know, Michael Jackson still lives on in his music today. I mean, the fact that we're still talking about it, I just hope in future generations to come, the music lives on. In my opinion, I feel like it will, because I know there are these videos. It's like a viral kind of theme. It's like when it's like old people react to current music, or kids listen to, do kids recognize classic Disney songs and stuff like that. I remember a couple of years ago, I watched one about do kids today know about Michael Jackson, and they saw a bunch of music videos. And the funniest part of that video, watching the kids watch his, from like Off the Wall, you know, like Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Rock With You, Billie Jean, Bad, You Are Not Alone, Remember the Time, Black and White, just all the stuff, you know, all the videos. And I believe they saw them in the order they came out. The funniest thing was the fact, like, is this the same guy? Because obviously Michael Jackson changed dramatically in his physical appearance from, you know, Rock With You to Smooth Criminal. And that was the funny part. But you know, the thing I love most about that video, I think maybe one or two kids might have remarked that, oh, I think I remember, you know, at this time he was in court for doing something bad to kids or something like that. I feel that in future generations, that the child molestation charges and whatnot, I feel like that's just going to be like a footnote, but not the headline of the history of Michael Jackson. Like, people will remember him for his music, because that one video with, I think, you know, young kids, maybe a teenager or two, but I think for the most part they were just young kids. They knew Michael from the music here and there. It's like, yeah, my parents listen to this and whatnot. They don't really talk about the child stuff. So in my mind, I feel that in a couple of decades or a couple generations from now, Michael's music will still live on, while the media and backlash and all that crap is just going to be a footnote. I don't even know if it'll be remembered, but, you know, we'll just have to wait and see. But in any case, the King of Pop, you know, still lives on. I still got my jackets, the Billie Jean, Beat It, and Thriller jackets. I actually own those. I have the sequence gloves and everything. It is just a trip to think that it's almost been 10 years. Next year marks 10 years since he's been gone. But with that being said, in the comment section below, you know, what do you miss most about Michael Jackson? Were you actually going to the This Is It? It's kind of interesting to think about what would have happened if Michael was able to go on the This Is It tour. I believe he kept calling it the final curtain call, but let's imagine if he did do it to, you know, clear his debt and whatever. Do you feel like he would do more music? Because obviously, you know, the people he was working for, let's just imagine Michael Jackson didn't pass away. Let's imagine he didn't get overbooked with so many tour dates. Based off the success of that tour, do you think that his promoters and whatnot would have been like, Michael, you got to strike while the iron's hot, you know, make a new album or something like that? I feel like that would have happened. I don't think Michael Jackson would have just sat down and done nothing, because obviously the tour was to eliminate debt, but Michael loving what he did. And I know this was at a time in his life, because I believe I did see that movie, Searching for Neverland. During that time, he really wanted to just be around his family and his kids and whatnot. But I do feel like Michael would have kept doing music, but we'll never know. But let's just remember that he's left us with so much music to enjoy for generations to come. Some of my favorite songs, you know, like Man in the Mirror, of course, but I'm trying to think of songs that aren't really out in the forefront when it comes to Michael, like Human Nature, She's Out of My Life, Butterflies. That's a very underrated song off the Invincible album. I think Carousel came out on the Thriller Anniversary album, and I love that song. Gosh, my can't believe he's gone. But yeah, with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What are some of your favorite Michael Jackson songs? What were some of your favorite tributes after he passed away? What do you think would have happened if Michael Jackson was still alive to do the This Is It tour? Do you think more music would have followed after that? What do you think the Michael Jackson estate is going to do in 2019 when that marks the 10-year anniversary of his death? Let's get this conversation open in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you all soon.